What's up everyone, Pratima here. So ever since the second gen AirPods Pro came out, I haven't had a look at any other wireless earbuds. That's because number one, its sound quality is great. Number two, the ANC and transparency mode here are awesome. And number three, the battery life on this thing is equally amazing. Plus, since I'm in the Apple ecosystem with my iPhone, MacBook and Apple Watch, the AirPods Pro makes all the sense to me. But despite all this, I'm always on a lookout for something even better. So when the Nothing Ear 2 came out, promising all the features as the AirPods Pro 2 at almost half the price, I knew I had to check it out. And after spending almost a month with the Ear 2, testing it on all sorts of smartphones and laptops with all sorts of media files, here is what I think about it. So starting with the design, I am pretty sure we all are familiar with Nothing's unique design practices. Here, the Ear 2 does not have those fancy LED lights like the Phone 1 or whatever, but it's still every bit as striking and visually iconic. I know this is yet another earbuds that has a lot of AirPods resemblance, but I found the Ear 2 to have this distinctive kind of charm. Anyway, you get 3 silicone ear tips in the box, and I found the default medium-sized ones to fit my ears best. It also passed the ear tip fit test in the Nothing X app, so I was good to go. But just like fingerprints, our ear shapes are also fundamentally different. So while a bunch of my friends and colleagues found the Ear 2's fit to be perfectly comfortable, some of them had trouble putting them on, including me. I don't mean to say that these earbuds simply fall off my ears or anything, but I've had to frequently readjust them every now and then. So as far as fit and comfort is concerned, I would still pick AirPods Pro 2 over Nothing. And because Nothing has switched from touch to pinch control on the Ear 2, getting around it was not as elegant as I had hoped. Every time I interacted with these earbuds, it would simply reposition in my ears. But I'm really glad that Nothing lets you customize the controls so easily. Apart from all the basic stuff, you can even adjust volume levels directly from these earbuds, which is awesome. Moving on, just like the earbuds, this see-through case is also unapologetically bold. Nothing has managed to shrink it down compared to the first gen Ear 1, even though it is still not as sleek as the AirPods Pro 2's case. Plus, despite my best efforts, it has already suffered visible scratches from seemingly nowhere. The good news is that unlike the AirPods, Nothing has secured both dust and water protection for the Ear 2. For connectivity, these earbuds feature the latest Bluetooth 5.3 standard along with Google's Fast Pair and Microsoft's Swift Pair support. That means the Ear 2 is much easier to pair and connect with all sorts of devices, be it Android smartphones and tablets or Windows PCs. And while I am yet to face any typical Bluetooth issues like connection drop or something, I have noticed a couple of bugs that even Nothing's latest firmware update could not solve. First off, the Ear 2's wear detection is still not as reliable as I would like. Sometimes it works, sometimes it just does not. And for some reason, I have to manually pair it with my MacBook every single time I want to connect it. Nothing has a pretty good track record of fixing bugs, so I hope all this gets resolved pretty soon with an update. Other than this, its dual connection feature is pretty cool actually. The AirPods Pro can also switch between multiple devices with the same Apple ID pretty seamlessly, but I found the Ear 2's true multi-point connectivity to be much more useful. It lets me connect these earbuds with 2 devices at a time, and I can easily switch between the audio source without having to meddle with the whole pairing and unpairing process every single time. Okay, let's talk about the noise cancellation. Here, the Nothing Ear 2 promises that it can cancel up to 40 decibels of ambient noise. Now, the AirPods Pro's ANC is undoubtedly some of the best in the business, but I must say that for the price, the Ear 2 does a fantastic job of cancelling out the noise. Be it in my office with all the AC noises and keyboard clatters, a busy Kathmandu street, or my daily commute to work, Ear 2 is great at getting rid of consistent low-frequency sounds. The AirPods Pro still sounds quieter to my ears, whether it's low-pitch sounds or high-pitch ones like a car horn, but I would not write off Ear 2's ANC capabilities that easily. Nothing's earbuds can also dynamically adjust ANC settings under the adaptive profile, but I found it to be rather counterproductive as it often failed to accurately determine the surrounding noise level to make any meaningful changes to the noise cancellation level. And on multiple occasions, there was this soft whoosh feedback, which I'm assuming is the earbuds adjusting between different levels of ANC, but I could hear no difference. Likewise, I did not notice anything new with the personalized ANC mode that apparently tailors noise cancellation to the exact shape of my ears. So I've just set the Ear2's ANC to high all the time instead of having to deal with all this. What about transparency mode then? Is it any good? Well, I knew there was simply no way these earbuds could beat the AirPods Pro 2 in this context, and I was right. Ear2's transparency mode does sound natural enough and not tinny or synthesized like older generation Samsung earbuds, but Apple is simply way too ahead in this race. I'm not sure if this is the way Nothing prefers transparency mode or something, but things just sound noticeably damp and muffled here, and also with a bit of persistent white noise. Okay, now let's dig into the main course, which is the audio quality itself. The Nothing Ear 2 gets the same 11.6mm driver as its predecessor with a new dual chamber design and an improved diaphragm for better sound. And the way Nothing has tuned things here, I feel like most people would enjoy Ear2's sound signature. Under the balanced equalizer, its audio is full and balanced with nice bass, clear mid and upper mid tones, and good imaging. One of my biggest complaints I have about the AirPods Pro 2 is that it lacks that definitive punch in terms of bass, but thankfully I can't say the same about the Nothing Ear 2. Listening to something like Sweet's The Ballroom Blitz, which has a lot of dynamics, bass sounds more fleshed out here along with everything else. But in certain type of songs, Ear2's treble reproduction can come off a little too bright.
I know I have a fickle heart.
For instance, instead of Adele's voice taking the center stage in Don't You Remember, it's the guitar strums that sound more important, which is not the case with the AirPods. To be fair, I do prefer this type of smooth EQ when listening to instrumental tracks like the Last of Us soundtrack or the Radiohead's Paranoid Android, where the high frequencies sound open and without any unpleasant sibilance. Anyway, seeing how Nothing's personalized ANC was pretty much useless, I had no real expectation from Ear2's personalized sound profile either, but wow, I was wrong about that. It takes about 3 to 5 minutes to generate your hearing ID, and it could be 100% worth it. As you can see here, Nothing says it can restore some mids and high frequency sounds for me. So with the personal EQ on, I am definitely getting livelier sound overall with a richer treble. But oftentimes I did notice that vocals sounded somewhat synthesized here. Now, if you're subscribed to the most premium plan on Apple's Music or Tidal, or if you have a ton of high-res audio files on your local library, then you're also going to make the most out of Ear2's LHDC 5.0 support. But apart from the audio source, you'll also need a compatible smartphone to get LHDC working, which only a handful of other upper mid-range and flagship phones support this high-res codec. I got it running on the Oppo Reno 9 Pro, and with this, Ear2 did gain a little bit more depth and clarity in mid and high frequencies in most songs. I also don't have any complaints about the latency on this thing. Even without the dedicated low lag mode, there is no weird lip sync issue when watching shows and movies. And turning it on, I'd say the audio delay is just barely noticeable and good enough for casual gaming sessions. Likewise, I am also equally impressed with the Ear2's microphone quality. Nothing has equipped it with 3 mics on each earbud, and it drowns out the surrounding noise really well. Almost as good as the AirPods Pro 2 in fairly quiet indoor environment like this. And even when exposing it to outdoor noise, these earbuds do an excellent job of preserving the clarity of my voice. The AirPods Pro 2 does have slightly better noise suppression in this case, but I've had no trouble making phone calls from the Nothing Ear 2 either. Okay, let's now talk about the battery life, and this is one area I wish Nothing had also found a way to improve this time. I am someone who listens to music for long hours at 80 to 90% volume with ANC on, and the Nothing Ear 2 would die after just 3.5 hours, sometimes even less. With active noise cancellation turned off, you do get a couple of hours of extra playback time, but it's nowhere near my AirPods Pro. The silver lining here is that this case supports fast charging, so after plugging it in for like 10 minutes, you can get up to 8 hours worth of charge, which is quite insane in itself. It also accepts Qi wireless charging, but it's quite slow at 2.5 watt. Alright, so that was all for my long-term review of the new Nothing Ear 2. With everything that I've discussed so far, it's clear that these earbuds impress on many critical fronts. From its eye-catching design, great sound quality to reliable ANC and call quality, there's a lot to love about the Nothing Ear 2. Nothing has gone with a somewhat treble heavy tuning by default, which may not be everyone's cup of tea, but you can always set a custom equalizer to fix this. Having said that, I won't be replacing it for my AirPods Pro 2 anytime soon, mostly because of a couple of things I mentioned before, like the slightly uncomfortable fit and the mediocre battery backup. The sheer number of software bugs on this thing is also something I did not expect from Nothing, but since the said bugs are not that significant and can be fixed with a couple of future updates, I would not worry too much about it. So if you're a casual listener who wants flagship earbuds without spending a whole lot, the Nothing Ear 2 is definitely among the most appealing options out there. On top of everything else, these earbuds are not tied to any ecosystem either, which means you're not missing out on anything no matter what smartphone you pair it with. Except for LHDC support maybe, but that's really not a big deal. So everyone, that was all for this video. If you liked it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And while you're there, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notifications icon. Till then, I'm Pratima and thank you so much for watching.